The Sword and Shield is the master of all weapons, having access to both slashing and blunt damage, the ability to perfect block and counter attacks, or quickly maneuver through the arena with its high mobility. Versatility is the name of the game, and none are as versatile as the Sword and Shield. And while the weapon may be described as beginner friendly, it has a tall skill ceiling for you to climb due to the amount of combos, cancels, and options you have available at any moment. Sword and Shield can be played in a variety of ways, supporting all kinds of playstyles. So if you want to learn everything that you can about the Sword and Shield, you have come to the right video. In this complete guide, I will be going over the fundamentals of the weapon, the best combos you can perform, and when it's best to use each one of them. I'll also cover advanced techniques and cancels, as well as a few unique interactions so that you can get the most value out of your weapon. And lastly, you will find some recommended skills, including some lesser known combinations that can benefit the Sword and Shield. With that being said, hello everyone, my name is Dark Hero, and welcome to my weapon course featuring the Sword and Shield. So let's start with the basics. By pressing triangle, Y, or left click 4 times, you get this 4-hit combo right here that I like to call the chop combo. This 4-hit combo is especially effective as it allows you to move around the monster like this, so you can freely readjust your positioning. Then by pressing circle, B, or right click 3 times, you get this 3-hit combo, or what I like to call the spinning combo. This 3-hit combo is more powerful than the chop combo, with the downside being that you are unable to move while you are performing it. However, if you input any direction while you're pressing circle, B, or right click at any moment, you're going to do a shield bash. So if you do this 3 times, you're going to get the shield combo. This shield combo, while not dealing devastating amounts of damage and being weaker than the other two, has the added benefit of being able to knock out a monster by doing stun damage like this. It's important to mention that at any point during your chop combo or your spinning combo, you're able to input the triangle or circle button and go from one combo to the next seamlessly, and even go into the shield bash combo, though you cannot go from the shield bash combo into the chop combo or the spinning reaver combo. Those two can go into the shield bash combo, but you cannot go from the shield bash combo into the other two. Additionally, by pressing both the triangle and circle or Y and B buttons at any point during your combo, you're going to get a special action depending on where you use it in a combo. So if you are not in the middle of a combo, you're going to get the advancing slash that covers a bit of distance and is the same move you do whenever you unsheath your weapon. We'll talk more about advancing slash in a moment. However, if you input those two buttons at the same time in the middle of a combo, you're going to get this round slash. So if you do these two slashes as part of the spinning combo and then press triangle and circle, we get this spinning slash. This spinning slash doesn't deal a good amount of damage, and ideally you want to avoid using it. However, if you input those two buttons at the end of a combo, instead of getting a spinning slash, you're going to get the spinning reaper. So let's do it with the chop combo. There you go. With the spinning combo, and with the shield bash combo. This spinning reaper deals a very good amount of damage, and as such, you should try to always use it at the end of a combo. However, that is not all, because if you input those two same buttons once again, so triangle, circle, Y and B, or left click and right click at the same time, and you hold those two buttons while you are in the middle of a combo, you're going to get this right here. This is what is known as a charged chop, and it is actually a very powerful move for the Sword and Shield, although it shouldn't be used like this, as you're going to be dealing a lot less damage. Because you see, if you save the charged chop for the end of a combo, so let's do the spinning combo, 3 circle hits, like this, and then you hold down the triangle and circle, your sword is going to glow and you're going to get the enhanced charged chop, which is going to deal much more damage. So one more time, we hold down the button, and there you go, that is the enhanced charge chop. And once again, you can get this enhanced charge chop at the end of every combo, including even the shield combo, like this. However, the best part about it is that you can combine the spinning reaper into the charge chop. So we're going to be doing the spinning combo like this, follow up with the spinning reaper, and then do the enhanced charge chop for maximum amount of damage. So ideally, each time you perform a combo against a monster, be it the shield bash combo, the spinning combo, or the chop combo, you'll always want to make sure that you include both hits at the end to deal as much damage as possible. The Charged Chop, and especially the Enhanced Charged Chop, is an especially powerful tool that allows you to deal much more damage against monsters, as you're able to hit the same part multiple times, therefore being able to apply and destroy wounds very quickly with the sword and shield. And given that you're able to flow seamlessly between each different part of a combo, you might be overwhelmed with all of the information I have given you so far. But we still have one main mechanic and additional combo to go over. By pressing the R2 or RT button or the R key, you're able to use your shield to block an attack. And of course you can use your shield to block incoming attacks, which will deplete your stamina, and you will also take a portion of the attack's damage. Keep in mind that to block an attack, you actually need to be blocking from the direction it is coming, otherwise you're going to get hit. Additionally, while you are holding your shield, your stamina will stop depleting, so you will need to let go of your shield to start regenerating your stamina again. You can also move while holding down your shield, but you move a lot slower. As you can see, whenever you block an attack with the sword and shield, you are sent pretty far back, as the shield from this weapon is very small. That said, if you perfectly time your block input, you're going to get this perfect guard. And the timing for it is actually pretty forgiving. As you can see, I don't have to block at the exact moment. As long as I'm fairly consistent with it, I'm able to get a perfect guard, and whenever you do so, you're going to take much reduced damage. The amount of stamina that you're going to lose by blocking is going to be severely reduced, and you're also not sent back whenever you do this. And to top it all off, whenever you perform a perfect guard, you're able to do this follow-up counter that deals a good amount of damage, like this. Additionally, while you're holding down the block button, you have a couple of options. By pressing the triangle or Y button or left click on your mouse, you're going to get this sliding swipe. This move covers a lot of distance and can actually hit monsters twice as you pass through them like this, and the best part about this move is the insane amount of iframes that you get with it, allowing you to go through attacks that would deal a good amount of damage to you and come out unscathed like this. So between your advancing slash and your sliding slash, you have plenty of options when it comes to mobility, and you can cover all of this ground without wasting any stamina, so avoid using your dodge rolls to get close to a monster. Additionally, it's also important to mention that, compared to your advancing slash, sliding slash actually deals more damage provided that you hit with both hits of the attack. And again, given that you have iframes throughout the entire duration you're sliding, it might just end up being the better option 9 times out of 10. It should also be mentioned that both the advancing slash and the sliding slash have a unique property, to where if you are close to a ledge like this and you perform the advancing slash, you're going to go up the ledge, and if you perform it while on top of the ledge, you're going to jump down like this. And again, the same thing goes for the sliding slash, going up like this and going down like this. And while you are in the air, you have a couple of options. You can either press triangle or left click to perform the jumping slash, like this, or you can press the triangle and circle button at the same time to perform a plunging thrust, like this. And these two options are the same whether you perform the sliding swipe or the advancing slash. The jumping slash is a better option if you want to get mounts on monsters, as it doesn't deal a lot of good damage, but it is very good at getting mounts. However, if you want to do some good damage to the monsters, you really want to do this plunging thrust, as it is going to deal more damage as you go down the monster. Additionally, you can also run up walls like this by using advancing slash or sliding swipe, and that will always lead into the plunging thrust like this. Alternatively, if you are close to a slope like this and you perform the advancing slash, you're actually going to go sliding down. However, the same cannot be said if you use the sliding swipe. And while sliding down the slope, you have a couple of options. If you press triangle, you jump up, and in the air you can perform a jumping slash, or you can perform a plunging thrust. But if you press the circle button, you jump even further into the air, like this, and then you have the two same options. There's a couple more moves that you can do while you're holding down the shield. If you press triangle and circle at the same time, you're going to get the rising slash. That then allows you to follow up with your basic combos, but because this doesn't skip any move of any different combo, it's not really a good option for you to use, and it really doesn't deal a good amount of damage. It's just a small poking attack you can use. However, if you press circle or the B button, you're going to get this very quick guard slash that allows you to kind of poke the monster, dealing damage while still blocking. And if you do it like this, you're actually able to do this if you know you're going to get hit, and that can still lead to a perfect block like this. The timing is very generous, and of course you can then use the counter slash, which deals a ton of damage. So again, if you know that the monster is attacking, it's a very good thing for you to do, instead of just using the perfect block that allows you to further punish the monsters doing a little bit of extra damage like this. It should also be noted that because the guard slash has a very fast activation time, you can actually do it to cancel the end-lag animation of some attacks. A common problem with the Spinning Reaper is that it has a very high amount of end lag. That is to say that after you finish the Spinning Reaper animation, I'm trying to spam my attack button and nothing happens. It takes a very long time until I'm able to do anything, and even the dodge takes a little bit of time to get started, so you're better off simply doing a guard slash after a Spinning Reaper to be a lot safer. Now, we're not necessarily done with the shield yet. One very important thing you can also do with the Sword and Shield following any attack you do is doing this backstep right here. This backstep is initiated by holding down the direction towards the back of your hunter with the analog stick and pressing circle or the B button at the same time, again after any action you do, like this. Or if you are using focus mode like this, you can straight up just hold down the analog stick backwards and press circle and you're going to get the backstep. That said, you don't need to actually use an attack to initiate the backstep. You can simply block like this and go into a backstep. That is a very common way in which players are going to be using the backstep, but of course with focus mode you can just do it like this and you have a lot more freedom. Now, this backstep can be used in a variety of different ways. If you keep holding down the button like this, you're going to be charging up an attack until your sword glows, and then you're going to get an enhanced slash that's going to be called the charge slash. Alternatively, if you simply let go of the circle button while holding down on the analog stick, you're going to get this diagonal slash like this. That is the rising slash that again can be followed up with by any combo you perform, but it's not ideal. The main reason why you would want to do this rising slash is if you go for the backstep and you aren't sure on what to do, then you let go of the circle button and you're going to get it like this. If you hold down the circle button until the sword glows and you let go, you're going to get the charge slash, and if it connects with a monster, you're going to go up into the air with the scaling slash, which gives you once again a couple of different options while you are in the air. You can perform a jumping slash, which again is a very powerful tool for mounting monsters, but does not deal a good amount of damage, so you want to avoid using it as much as possible. If you press the circle button, you're going to get the falling bash where you hit the monster with the shield and you're going to deal a massive amount of stun damage, and that will often lead to a monster being KO'd like this. And of course, if you press triangle and circle at the same time, you're going to get the plunging thrust. That is the option that deals the most amount of damage as you're going through the monster. And if you perform a backstep and press the circle button again, you're going to get this advancing slash. That again is the same advancing slash you do when you are unsheathing your weapon, or by pressing the triangle and circle button at the same time. Another very important thing about the Sword and Shield that you should be aware of is that your backstep has iframes. So if you time it right, you're able to dodge out of the attack without taking any damage, giving you even more ways to approach combat in Monster Hunter Wilds. And there is one other way in which you can use the backstep, where if you press the triangle button during the charged period of the backstep, you're going to perform this leaping slash. And this leaping slash allows you to go into a special combo that the Sword and Shield can perform, that is called the perfect rush. Whenever you perform this leaping slash, you're going to see your sword momentarily glow. The best way to perform perfect rush is to press the triangle button or left click whenever the sword or the shield glows in each of these different hits of the combo. It's a 3-hit combo, so you're going to need to get your timing right, so make sure to practice. So 1, that's 2, and that's 3, and it ends with you going up in the air. You can still perform perfect rush by simply spamming the left click or triangle button, but you're going to be dealing a lot less damage if you do it like that. Ideally, you want to make sure that you correctly time your button inputs. So again, right there, and right there. And of course, once you are in the air, you're going to get a few different options. You can do the falling bash once again, you can do the jumping slash for mounting, and you can do the plunging thrust for more damage. It should also be noted that the perfect rush can be comboed into the charge chop like this, by instead of doing the input for the final hit, so that's the first, that's the second, now you will want to hold down the triangle and circle button, or Y and B, and that is how you're able to perform the charge chop following the perfect rush. I'll talk more about the perfect rush in the best combo section and how viable it actually is, as there are some moments in which you actually want to go for the perfect rush as opposed to some combos. It's important to mention that whenever you're using the shield combo and you're doing these shield bash attacks, you're not going to be doing any elemental damage as you are hitting the monster with your shield. Your shield does not apply any sort of elemental effect. And that goes for all kinds of hits you do with your shield, so whether it is the shield attacks during the perfect rush, like this one right here, or even the falling bash, you're not going to be applying any sort of elemental effect. Now, of course, we also gotta talk about the focus strike. By applying a wound to a monster, you're then able to use the focus strike by going into focus mode and then pressing R1, right bumper or shift. Doing this will have your hunter attach itself to the monster like so, and then you have two different options. If you simply do not touch your controller, eventually your hunter will do the falling slash, which is essentially similar to the plunging thrust, where you pierce down the monster dealing damage as you go across it. If you press the triangle button or left click, you're going to be doing the same, and if you press the circle button, you're going to perform this upswing bash, and then you're able to move around for a little bit and then perform a falling bash as a follow-up. That said, following the upswing bash, you can even go into the jumping slash or the plunging thrust, the same aerial options that we have gone over before, but it just makes more sense to go for a falling bash since you are already doing stun damage as you go up with the upswing bash, and you're able to move a little bit in the air to make sure that you can aim for the head. It should also be noted that the Sword and Shield is able to use the focus strike while you are in the air, so as you can see right here, I'm able to aim downwards to the wound that is below me, and I'm even pulled towards it. It has a lot of magnetism, so even if I miss, as you can see, it takes me right there and gives you a lot more freedom when it comes to reaching wounds that may be somewhat harder to reach, like this one right here. Additionally, the Sword and Shield has a very unique property when it comes to wounds. You see, whenever you are building up a wound, eventually you're going to run into this white scar that you apply on monster parts. This indicates that you are about to break a wound on that spot, so if you keep attacking it, you're going to generate a wound like that. Well, in the unique case of the Sword and Shield, and I believe that this is the only weapon that can do this in the entire roster, whenever you notice a white scar applied to a monster part, you can perform an early focus strike like so, that deals a lot of damage. It's pretty much the same amount of damage that you would deal with that falling slash right there, in a very short animation that allows you to be a lot quicker. That is pretty much the same thing as the drill slash from Monster Hunter Rise. You may have seen me and many other Sword and Shield players using this throughout their hunts, and it can be difficult to spot these white scars on the monsters, but whenever you see them, in my opinion, it's always worth it to go for the focus strike, as again, the amount of damage you deal with it is going to be very similar to when you use an actual focus strike with the falling slash, and it is much quicker. One thing that is also important to talk about the Sword and Shield is the way in which you unsheath your weapon. As I explained before, if you simply press the triangle or left click as you are moving, you're going to get the advancing slash to unsheath your weapon. That said, if you press R2 or right trigger, you're going to take out your shield to unsheath your weapon like this. This means that you can unsheath your weapon by performing a sliding swipe, so that is R2 and triangle, or right trigger and Y. And you can also unsheath your weapon by going into a backstep like this to get straight into a falling bash right away, to get straight into a perfect rush, anything you prefer. As I explained before, to do that all you need to do is press the shield button and follow up with the backstep right away. So if you do it real quick, this is what it's gonna look like. It's important to recognize you're not going to be sheathing your weapon a whole lot with a Sword and Shield, given the mobility you have with the weapon, while also being able to consume items with your weapon unsheathed. That said, it is still important for you to know in which situation you should go for a different approach when unsheathing your weapon. One thing to note about the Sword and Shield in particular is that you can use items while your weapon is unsheathed. So for example, if I want to use this Might Seed while my weapon is out, I can simply open up the radial menu and consume it, or if I have the item here on my item bar, I can simply go up to the item and by holding down my R2 or right trigger, that is the button for the shield, and then pressing square, I'm able to consume that item. Like this. This can be especially handy for you to place down a trap if you know that the monster is about to get to a point where they're going to try to leave the area, so you can do it right after you finish a combo without needing to sheath your weapon. It's not a huge advantage for the Sword and Shield, especially given how quickly you're able to sheath the weapon, but it is an advantage nonetheless. That said, let's now move on to some special cancels, unique interactions, and some advanced tech that you should learn for the Sword and Shield to be as effective as possible with this weapon. The first cancel that I have for you is regarding the sliding swipe. As I said before, sliding swipe is an incredibly useful tool, as it can even be used to dodge backwards having iframes all the way while you are in focus mode, and covers a great deal of distance, allowing you to stay mobile and gap close to the monsters very easily. That said, you can cancel the end-lag portion of the sliding swipe by going into a guard slash right away, or by going into a focus strike at any moment. As you can see, I'm even able to cancel out of the second hit of the sliding swipe by going into a focus strike, allowing me to stay on the move and get closer to a wound that I may need to approach like that, and quickly get out of it in an instant. That said, what if you end up missing the focus strike? Once again, you end up with a little bit of end lag. It takes quite a bit of time until you're able to move your character, and even if you try to do a guard slash, it also takes a pretty long amount of time to get it out. However, what you can do is actually go into a backstep right after, giving you iframes, allowing you to dodge an incoming attack, getting into a perfect rush, anything of the sort. So you're not essentially being punished by whiffing your focus strike, and you can go into the perfect rush, which is a powerful combo, or simply go into the backstep into a charge slash if you expect a monster to approach, or cancel out of the backstep into a rising slash and go back into the aggression. Of course, we have already talked about the guard slash and how useful it is at being able to dish out a little bit of extra damage while also allowing you to perfect guard incoming attacks, and also cancel out of the end lag animation out of some moves. However, sadly, this guard slash cannot be used to get out of the charge chop animation quicker, so you still have a lot of time until you're able to use it, and seeing as this charge chop is your most powerful tool in your arsenal, you're going to be spamming it a lot. What is the best course of action following a charge chop? You can either go into a rising slash right after by pressing triangle, Y, or left click. This is pretty much the same rising slash you do by pressing triangle and circle at the same time while blocking. It's a very fast animation that deals a little bit of extra damage, that is very low commitment, so you can go immediately into a guard slash right after if you need to block, or you can go straight from a rising slash into a sliding swipe, giving you again more ways to dodge incoming attacks. Though sadly, while you are able to go from the rising slash into any of your combos, the rising slash does not skip any of the initial hits, so you're still going to need to do the entirety of the combo to reach the spinning reaper and then the charged chop once again. That said, alternatively, once you finish the charged chop, you have the ability to go into a backstep that of course allows you to go into a perfect rush, and then the charged chop once again. You can use the backstep to go into a charged slash and then into a falling bash. Whatever it is you may need, much like when you miss the focus strike, you can go into a backstep. You have the same options there whenever you finish the charge chop and decide to go into a backstep right after. And now it's finally time to talk about the best combos for the Sword and Shield. Which combos are going to deal the most amount of damage in the shortest amount of time possible? What are some of the alternatives? And how good is Perfect Rush and when should you use it? So for the Sword and Shield, this is actually pretty simple. Your best combo, in theory that is going to be the 3-hit spinning combo that allows you to go into the Spinning Reaper and then the Enhanced Charge Chop. While the first 3 hits of the combo do decent damage, you really want to get to the Spinning Reaper and then the Charge Chop as quickly as possible, and the spinning combo is the quickest way to be able to achieve that. Now, the reason why I say that the spinning combo is the best Sword and Shield combo in theory is because it can be difficult to find an opening to get all 3 of these hits in, as you are immobile while you are performing it, meaning that if the monster moves and you need to reposition, you would have to stop the combo, gap close to the monster, and then resume the combo from where you left it. Additionally, you may also need to stop in the middle of the combo to block an incoming attack, and then resume the spinning combo from the beginning. So alternatively, the chop combo might be your best option, as it allows you to stay mobile with each of your different moves, allowing you to deal damage while also being able to dodge out of the way of incoming attacks, therefore giving you a much bigger uptime on your combos and getting closer to the charge chop more often, as you can easily adjust your positioning with each of the 4 hits whilst building up towards the big hitters, aka the Spinning Reaper into the charge chop. That said, even if you find the perfect opening to use the spinning combo, there's a moment where the chop combo is going to be optimal, and that is whenever you're using the Corrupted Mantle. The Corrupted Mantle is a very unique mantle in the sense that on top of having a very powerful effect, giving you 10% raw attack and 30% affinity for 2 minutes, but this Corrupted Mantle also has the added effect of causing some attacks to create secondary hits of damage. So when we put on the Corrupted Mantle, and as you can see whenever I do my chop combo, you can see a smaller number with each of every single one of my hits. Not all combos are going to get these secondary hits. As you can see whenever I do the spinning combo, I cannot get a single one of those extra hits. And the same goes whenever I do my shield bash combo. However, every single hit of the chop combo is going to get that secondary additional hit that is going to allow you to deal much more damage by using the chop combo while the Corrupted Mantle is active. And given how powerful the Corrupted Mantle is, especially compared to all of the other mantles you are likely always going to be using it, make sure that whenever you have the Corrupted Mantle active, you always go for the chop combo, as it is by far the most beneficial option. That said, if you are looking to deal as much damage as possible, with these two attacks getting those secondary hits, followed by circle and then repeating the same combo over and over again. So once again, triangle, triangle, circle, triangle, triangle, circle, Y, Y, B, Y, Y, B. Now I personally don't enjoy playing like this, which is why I don't like to go for this combo as much, but again, if what you really want to do is to deal as much damage as possible, then keep repeating this combo over and over again and you'll be able to achieve tremendous results. As you can see, not even the Perfect Rush gets those secondary hits whenever I have the Corrupted Mantle on. Now speaking of the Perfect Rush, there is a lot that we can say about this move. That was once the Sword and Shield's biggest damage tool. Perfect Rush is by far the slowest combo the Sword and Shield has. The biggest downside of the Perfect Rush is that it is the slowest combo of the Sword and Shield. Additionally, the damage of the Perfect Rush is backloaded. That is to say that most of the damage comes from the final hits of the combo. Therefore, it requires a lot of commitment, as if you get hit or cancel out of Perfect Rush in the middle of the combo, then all the time you would have spent building up to the final hits of the combo would have been wasted. That said, Perfect Rush still deals a very respectable amount of damage and is a viable option when you are certain that you can land the entire combo. Now, while its overall damage per second leaves something to be desired compared to the chop combo, and especially the spinning combo, it still deals a considerable amount of damage, being the strongest combo option that you have at the cost of the least amount of sharpness. And Sword and Shield burns your sharpness in an instant with all of the quick hits you do, so maintaining sharpness levels is very important. On top of that, Perfect Rush also has the added benefit of doing some additional stun damage through the hits with the shield, not to mention the use of Falling Bash at the end, potentially building up a nice KO, leaving the monster vulnerable on the ground for you to deal some big damage. So if you play your cards right, you can look cool as you leap into the air to dodge an incoming attack, and at the same time prepare to land a big KO on the monster. All of that to say that no, the rumors are not true. Perfect Rush is not dead. It just fills a unique role in the Sword and Shield's moveset and should not be spammed throughout the hunt. And that takes us to the skills. What are some of my biggest recommendations for the Sword and Shield, as well as a few unique interactions that you might not have known that could benefit your gameplay? Now, of course, the typical affinity increasing skills like Weakness Exploit, Crit Eye and Crit Boosts are all fantastic options for the Sword and Shield. One that you might not have considered, however, is Maximum Might, a skill that only requires a level 2 decoration slot, and that at level 3 provides you with 30% affinity, provided that you are able to maintain your stamina full. Now with the Sword and Shield, there are only a couple of actions that are going to be consuming your stamina, and they are blocking an attack or using your Backstep. So given that you're going to be maintaining your stamina full for pretty much a great majority of the hunt, and that whenever you block an attack or you use a Backstep, you're able to almost immediately regenerate the stamina back, and that you don't need to use your stamina to dodge roll out of the way of an attack, or to get close to the monster you can simply use your sliding swipe chip, you're going to be able to easily maintain a very good uptime on maximum might. Therefore, it is one of my biggest recommendations for the Sword and Shield. Now, one skill in particular that you might not have known works with the Sword and Shield and actually perfectly complements a few specific playstyles is Adrenaline Rush. This skill can provide you with up to a 30 flat attack increase whenever you dodge an incoming attack. And the cool thing about Adrenaline Rush is that it actually works with the backstep of the Sword and Shield. And given that the backstep has plenty of iframes which can be further improved, and the fact that the backstep is a move you can perform pretty much at any moment, you're able to maintain a very good uptime on Adrenaline Rush. So it is worth considering if you should add Adrenaline Rush to your build. Sadly, however, the sliding swipe does not work with Adrenaline Rush, but I think that could have made this skill too powerful. Now, when it comes to offensive skills, naturally Burst is going to be one of the better options. That, similarly to the affinity increasing skills, Burst is a skill that benefits just about any weapon in the game. But one skill that I'm very happy to always use on my Sword and Shield is none other than Offensive Guard. At level 3, it can provide you with an additional 15% attack increase if you block an attack before it connects. Now, the timing for Offensive Guard is actually very forgiving, so you don't need to perform a perfect guard in order to trigger this, and you are likely going to be able to maintain a very good uptime on Offensive Guard just because of how easily you're able to trigger it, and of course the fact that it has great synergy with the guard/tech that I showed you before. Now, on that note, one skill that I would not recommend that you might think could be good with the Sword and Shield is Guard. Guard makes it so that you reduce the impact of the attacks, so you basically don't get sent back as much whenever you block an attack, and you consume less stamina by blocking. Given how easy it is to perfect Guard in this game, and how you can still get a lot of value and additional benefits by simply doing a delayed block, especially when the skill Guard is a weapon exclusive skill, and there are so many better options for you to use. That said, still on the topic of blocking, one skill that is particularly powerful, especially if you want to boost your elemental damage, is Convert Element. Basically, whenever you take elemental damage, Convert Element will become active, and you will deal much more dragon damage, and your dragon attack will be massively increased. So if you're using a dragon weapon and you want to reach the elemental cap, this can be done by using Convert Element, and the best part about it is that you don't actually need to get hit in order to trigger Convert Element, as you can simply block an incoming attack and you're going to get the benefits from the skill. And again, given how easy it is for you to use a guard slash in the middle of the combo to block an attack, you're able to maintain a very good uptime on the skill consistently if you're trying to look for it. Divine Blessing is also naturally a very good recommendation for the Sword and Shield, as not only is it one of the best defensive skills in the entire game, having the chance of reducing the damage that you take for any hit by up to 50%, and all of it with level 1 decorations, is a very good defensive tool. But I especially recommend Divine Blessing for the Sword and Shield because you're going to be blocking attacks, and whenever you block attacks you're going to be taking chip damage, so Divine Blessing is going to be active more often and you're going to be getting more value out of the skill. Lastly, I have 3 different skills, and those are Handicraft, Razor Sharp, and Master's Touch, whose sole purpose is to maintain your sharpness at the highest level for as long as possible. And given that you're going to be doing a lot of very fast hits with the Sword and Shield, these skills are going to come in handy as you really want to maintain your wide sharpness to deal as much damage as possible. Of course, there are a few more additional skills outside of these recommendations that would still benefit the Sword and Shield hunters, so feel free to experiment and try out with different skills. And with that, we have come to the very end of my Sword and Shield guide. Hopefully it has been informative and you have learned something new in this video. I tried to pack as much information into it while also trying to keep everything condensed, as I don't want to go back to my days of making 1 hour long guides. That said, I still plan on making weapon guides for every single weapon in the game, where I will be as thorough as I was in this video, covering every single detail as much as I can. So if you look forward to that, then please subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video and share it with your friends. With that being said, my name is Dark Hero, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, happy hunting!